Hey everyone, welcome back to RetroBreak. Last weekend was once again the London gaming market, and this is probably my best haul that I've got from the show so far. The show itself was, as always, way too busy, so I couldn't get that much footage from the event, despite me really wanting to do another tour, so maybe next time I'm going to try and go in early before the crowds and have a good look around the tables properly so I can show you guys here on YouTube. But either way, let's get started with by far the most exciting purchase in a long time. This is a game that I've wanted since maybe 15-20 years ago at this point. The game in question is Panzer Dragoon Saga, and this is in immaculate condition as well, with the cardboard sleeve and all 4 discs inside too. So let's get this on the overhead camera and take a look inside. I'm so happy that I've got this, honestly. And it doesn't feel real holding this, to be honest. So here's a look at the cardboard sleeve. As you can see, it's got some screenshots on the back and the age rating down there, and a lot of writing in a lot of different languages, which is pretty cool to see. And I did notice that on the inside, if you can see there under the flap, I wonder whether I can get it to focus. It actually has some writing under there that says 1998. And that must have been whoever originally owned it, which is just really cool to see. And inside, of course, here's the 2 different boxes. The first disc is already in the Saturn, so there'll only be disc 2 in here. And also in here we have this little booklet explaining some of the later release Sega Saturn games as well, which is always really cool to see. Obviously this game came out right at the end of the Saturn's life, just before the Dreamcast was about to come out, so it's always really cool. There's also some more writing there from whoever owned this in the past as well, which is really cool. So that is what's in that one. And in the other one, this is the one that's actually got the manual for the game as well as discs 3 and 4. So really big, thick manual here, as you can see. A lot of pages, probably in a lot of different languages. And like most Saturn games, the English is just there on the left, and it's all in black and white. But it actually seems like there's a lot of information in here as well. And I do actually plan on playing the game here on YouTube, well, on my gameplay channel. It used to be called Gameplay Channel, but now I've renamed it to RetroBreak Live, which I think makes a lot more sense. And I've done the same over on Twitch as well. And I have booked out some time in my very busy content calendar to actually go through and play all of Panzer Dragoon Saga next month. So join me in the middle of April. I haven't decided the exact date yet, but I know I've got 2 weeks without anything going on the weekends. I'm going to try and play Panzer Dragoon Saga back to back and play through the entire game over a 2-week period. So hopefully I can manage to do that next month. Please give me a follow over on Twitch or here on YouTube to catch that live, and of course I'll also make a video afterwards about my thoughts on the game. But I'm just so happy to have it as part of my collection now, and I can't wait to find out what all the fuss is about. So really exciting first pickup, but there is a lot more interesting things to come in this video, so let's move on to the next one. So the next game here is a game that I already owned in the past, but for whatever reason I lost it over the years, so I'm very happy to finally add Breath of Fire 2 back to my Game Boy Advance collection. And I've decided from now on as well, I'm only collecting games complete in box, because I've got way too many loose games as it is. So I'm only getting games now that have the instructions and the game. And as you can see, again, Breath of Fire 2 has a really thick instruction book. Again, not in colour, unfortunately, and because it's the European one, it's in like 100 different languages. But very happy to actually have it complete in box, because this is actually a game that I grew up with for the Game Boy Advance, and I really enjoyed it back then, but for some reason I just haven't replaced it since I lost it all those years ago. So really happy to add this back into my collection. Now for another very expensive but very exciting pickup, this is a complete in box original Game Boy in immaculate condition. Apparently this was unsold stock that came from Dixon's, I believe, but what is really cool about this, let me open it up and we can have a look on the overhead camera. Not only is the polystyrene in really nice condition, it also came with the original warranty card as well, which is really fun to see. And as you can see, there's like a survey thing to fill out there, and it looks like all this has been kept really nicely as well. There's a bunch of other little leaflets and There's a Club Nintendo thing to sign off here for a free membership. There's the instruction booklet for Tetris, which of course came with this collection. There's also a poster in here, which is a little bit damaged, but it's not like scratched or anything, so that's really good. Really interesting to see these really early posters as well, where everything's in yellow and black graphics rather than the ones for the Game Boy Pocket, which I'm more used to seeing, so that's really cool. I was also inspecting this, and you can kind of see that the screenshots, they've actually just taken photos from a TV screen. You can see like the weird filters that the CRT gave it, like on that screenshot there, so that's really cool to have. As well as that, there's also another poster or leaflet here. Let's see what this one is. Here's another one with some more black and white Game Boy pictures and a rechargeable battery pack adapter, which I've never actually seen in real life either, so really cool to have all those posters. Obviously there's the instruction book for the actual Game Boy itself, and there's the copy of Tetris that came in the set, and obviously the main thing is the Game Boy itself. They did say that this is a replacement lens because the original one was kind of damaged, so it's not completely new, but the packaging is in pretty pristine condition, and I don't know whether I actually want to peel that off completely, but the new lens they put on there is amazing. And I put some batteries in and tested this out, and the screen is probably the best conditioned screen on an original Game Boy that I've ever seen. There's not a single issue with any of the pixels across the whole display. It was missing the earphones, but it does come with the link cable, which is really cool. So I'm probably not going to take that out, but it's cool that it came with it. So really happy to have this set. And when I get to 40,000 subscribers, which is looking like not that too far in the distant future at this point, I'm actually going to be using this to talk through my Game Boy memories. So if you want to see that video, then please subscribe and help me reach that milestone. I bought a bunch of Game Boy Color games, and like I said, I've been trying to collect them complete in box only, and I'm working on a Game Boy Color video, so I thought I should get more to bolster my collection a little bit, and they're all really cool and interesting games too. The first one is a game here called Pop and Pop, which is a really interesting game. It's actually a mix of a few different games, kind of all mixed together, so it kind of reminds me of Magical Drop, mixed with Puzzle Bubble, mixed with Space Invaders, the way the bubbles actually move across the screen, and it's actually really fun, and I'd never actually seen it before either, so I'm really happy to have that. It is an official Taito game, as you can see. It's got Bub and Bob right there, but the gameplay is very different to all of those other kind of games. There's the cart. Nice, fun, colourful label, and the instructions are in here as well. Unfortunately only in black and white, but still great to have it complete in box, and some really nice artwork there with some of the Taito characters. And for some reason it keeps advertising backgammon as well, which sounds like a much less interesting game. Something really cool about this is the kind of Taito history that it goes into. So if you can see on that page there, it's actually talking about all the different characters that you can choose in the game, and they're actually all from different Taito arcade games, which is really fun. So was really enjoying this game actually. Now, here's a very exciting game, and a very expensive one as well, and I got it for maybe a little bit more than what I could have got online, but either way, it was one that I wanted for my Game Boy Color video, and it's been on my list for a long time. It is Metal Gear Solid for the Game Boy Color. I think it's called Ghost Babel or something? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think it's called that, but even so, kind of nice condition box. There's a little bit of a scuff at the top there, but apart from that, everything's nice and complete. Got the cart and the manual in here. Well, the cart's actually in the Game Boy at the minute because I was playing it, but we can have a look at the manual. And it is actually in colour this time, which is always nice. And the manual hasn't got a scratch on it. It's like pristine condition, which is really good. And these late release Game Boy Color games like this one, or like any of Capcom's later games, they're just getting so expensive these days, so try and get them while you still can before the price just goes insane on these. I wish I'd got this game sooner honestly, but I'm still really happy to have it. There's the cartridge if you want to have a look at it. Nice and simple cartridge, just the text on a white background, but it works really well. So very happy to have this one. And the next three games are actually all part of the same series. It is Tony Hawk's Skateboarding, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. I got all of these off the same seller, and they were really cheap. I got the whole lot for like 15 quid or something, which is great, and I've been curious about how these games play for a while, and I have to say they're actually all very different to each other. So the original one here, I put this in and I just couldn't get anywhere on the game whatsoever. It was like the controls were just impossible to wrap my head around. The graphics were kind of nice, and I like the idea of the half pipe, but I just couldn't do anything in the game at all. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, on the other hand, plays more like a kind of weird side-scrolling platformer with a skateboard, but you're sort of enclosed in levels. And I can kind of see how they were trying to replicate the console version of the game, but I don't really think it worked that well. And then finally, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 is definitely the best of the bunch. I could actually control this one and actually get a little bit further into the game and actually get a pretty decent score. So definitely recommend Tony Hawk's 3 if you want to check out any of the Game Boy Color games. But honestly, none of these are that good, especially compared to the Game Boy Advance ones that came out after, which were just incredible isometric viewpoint skateboarding games that actually felt quite close to the console counterparts, whereas these three definitely take things in their own direction. They are interesting to see how developers tried to squeeze that console experience onto a Game Boy Color, which is only 8-bit, which in itself is an impressive feat, but the games themselves aren't really that fun. But even so, for a curiosity, I had to pick these up. And now for something really fun which came with the boxed Game Boy. This is the Handy Boy, and I'm sure you've seen pictures of this before. This is a hilarious monstrosity to really kit your original Game Boy out in true 80s or 90s fashion. I don't know when this actually came out. Let's have a look. Was this 90s or 80s? It doesn't actually say anywhere on the outer packaging, at least. But let's open this up and let's add it to the Game Boy and build the ultimate Game Boy experience. Who needs modding Game Boys when you've got the Handy Boy? And again, the packaging, I have to say, is just in incredible condition for its age. I wonder whether this was actually from the same warehouse, because they were kind of selling it as a set. So it looks like it still has all the original leaflets and stuff inside here too. Let's see what's in here. Here's a really weird diagram of how a Game Boy links to a Game Gear, or it's like all the different accessories that this Joy Plus company has made over the years. And again, there is still no date on there whatsoever, but let's dig a little bit deeper. I'm also not sure what was supposed to be in these. The other box had this as well. There's just a bunch of plastic sleeves that don't have anything in, so it looks like things have been opened at some point and then just put back in, but not wrapped back up properly. Anyway. Oh my god, where do I even start with this? So the first thing in here is this, which is like buttons and an analog stick attachment for the Game Boy. Let's actually get this Game Boy back out of here and kit it out properly. There we go. So this is how it looks without all of that extra accessories on the top. I think you can kind of see in the camera up here as well how nice the screen is. Like how I was mentioning, there's not a single issue with any of the pixels on the screen, which is really rare for a Game Boy. So this has been kept in amazing condition all these years. So anyway, let's get out the Handy Boy and see what it can do. So first of all, we're going to attach this on the front, I guess, like that. Just snap on. Okay, there you go. There's part one. Give it some really nice big chunky buttons. Now next, let's see what's in here. Without getting polystyrene everywhere. Okay, we have this monstrosity, which has the thing to put over your neck to carry it. It also has whatever that's for, and a fold-out screen with a magnifier that you can slide up and down, and speakers on the inside. That's what that thing's for. This is crazy. Okay, how do we attach all this? So that goes over the top. Does it slide on? Okay, it slides in like that. Right, and then this goes up and then over the top. Seems like it's a little loose. The hinge on the side's a bit wonky. So let's try and straighten that out a bit. There we go. Fold that over. Does that clip on, maybe? I feel like I'm missing something else though. There should be power going to it somehow. Ah, there's another piece. A missing piece of the puzzle. What am I looking at here? It's like a battery adapter with another cable. I guess that goes there in the side. Let's see if there was any. There's not any instructions. Where does this go? Oh, does it go in the battery pack? Oh, that's what that's for. Okay. That must be what that Velcro bit is on the back then. Okay. So the Velcro there attaches onto the Velcro on the back there. And then I guess we have to turn the Game Boy off. This seems a bit dangerous. Open the battery compartment. Take these end batteries out. How am I going to do this without breaking it? Like that? Okay, let's see if that works. It's connected, I think. I wasn't expecting it to use the same batteries. I thought they would have a separate battery pack. Right. Are we ready? Wait, where does this go? Does that go in the top there, maybe? Okay, that's in. Everything's sort of sliding around a bit. I don't know whether it, like, connects together somehow. We're not getting any light. And I can't really see anything either. And that's just sliding around. Oh, we've done it. I don't know what all these cables are connecting to, but we got there. The screen is very loose though. Can you actually see anything? Let's turn the lights off. Oh my god. I literally can't see anything. Let's see if I can stand up and look at it in there. No. Oh, I haven't even started the game yet. Okay, the buttons are getting stuck. I don't know whether that's slightly out of line or not. But that is so hilarious. Just look at this. Wow, you can just about make it out, I think. But yeah, what a monstrosity this has turned into. I guess I should put it around my neck for maximum effect. There we go. How cool am I, huh? Now I've got to get all this back in the box. And anyway, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed all my pickups from the London gaming market. I've got some more exciting stuff just over there that I want to show you, but I'll save that for next time. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you picked up if you were at the show. And as always, I will see you all again very soon for the next episode. Oh yeah, and if you want to see my last London gaming markets one, then click up there and watch that one next. Goodbye.